Hi, you're listening to Fluent in Canine. I'm your host, Sarah Ann Reed, holistic dog trainer and behavioral consultant, animal communicator, and the owner of Pack Dynamics. If you love dogs and you want to know how to understand them, how they think, and how you can best support and help them, this is the show for you. I will be communicating with dogs intuitively and posing questions to dogs as a collective, meaning whoever wants to step up to the mic and answer. That may be dogs who are in physical form and dogs who have transitioned and crossed over Rainbow Bridge. I'll be covering all kinds of different dog-related topics, including asking questions about typical behavioral issues. I will also be having chats one-on-one with individual dogs whose parents and guardians have reached out to me wanting to know how best to support and help them. Dogs will communicate with me intuitively by showing me images in my mind, sometimes videos. If it's something emotional that they're feeling, I will feel that emotion myself. If they want to show me something about how they're feeling physically, I will usually feel that sensation in my body, for example, throbbing or pinching pain. And then in my mind, I will see an image of their body and they'll highlight that area that they're feeling pain or discomfort. And it's also like feeling the words that they're sharing with me. So it's usually a combination of all of those things when animals are communicating with me. It's also very entertaining because their personalities come through in conversations. So for a dog who's a comedian, they're usually cracking jokes the whole time. If they're very serious, they're very much to the point and want to make sure that that all of the questions are answered. I never know what's going to happen. Dogs have given business advice, dating advice. They'll say how they feel, what they need, life lesson advice. Sometimes it's something simple like you got a treat sample at the pet store and I loved it. Why didn't you get more? For this first episode, I really wanted to pose a question that was going to help as many dogs as possible. There are so many dogs that are returned to the shelter or surrendered in the first place because they're pottying in the house, right? This is one of the number one reasons that dogs are surrendered. So many people will think that a dog isn't very smart, that they're not trainable, or that they're doing this out of spite, right? Especially if someone leaves to go to work and they come home to an accident on the floor, they'll think, oh, my dog's trying to punish me for leaving them and not taking them with me. This is very far from the truth, right? So let's dive in and ask the question. When I'm posing the question to dogs as a collective, as I mentioned, there's probably going to be a variety of dogs that step up to the mic, so to speak, and answer this question for us. And I'm just as excited to hear what messages they have to share. It's always so insightful to hear their wisdom and advice. Sometimes they give training advice too. So it'll just take me a moment to connect in. Here we go. When I'm communicating with dogs as a collective, individual dogs or sometimes multiple fur babies in a home, my eyes are closed when I'm receiving the messages so that I can see those images clearly. Find the information flows much more easily when I'm not distracted by things that I'm seeing in physical. And not sure why, but my left hand always comes up. I guess it's like picking up the phone to talk to someone. So here we go. Okay. several dogs that are stepping up to the mic, so to speak. They say knowing our names is not important. We're here to give wisdom and advice. To all of those who are ready to hear it so that you can better understand your fur babies and know, yes, how to see the world from their perspective and know how best to support and help them. Thank you. Can you please shed light on why dogs potty in the house? So many people think that after a certain age, a dog should just be potty trained and are very confused about why their dog may be eliminating in the house. This is one of the number one reasons that dogs are surrendered. Okay. They're saying this really breaks our heart. Dogs are emotional beings. They can feel joy, sadness, grief, fear, insecurity, so many different emotions. However, dogs don't get angry. They're not resentful. They're not spiteful. They don't do something to try to teach you a lesson or to punish you because you did something they didn't like. This is not how dogs think. This isn't how they work, right? Okay. So can you please share with us some of the reasons that dogs do go potty in the house? Sometimes people will think it's not really an accident. It was a purposeful, done on purpose because they were left at home when they went to work. Especially so many people adopted dogs during COVID. And they were home with their dogs, got to spend a lot of time with them. And then all of a sudden, things changed. People were going back to work. Children went back to school. Life resumed again. Life outside of the house. So many dogs were returned to rescue organizations, taken to the shelter. Yes, okay. And they're saying, yes, so many dogs were struggling because life as they knew it had completely changed. Okay, where would you like to start in answering this question? There's so much information here. Okay, they're saying we would like to start with dogs who have been adopted, dogs that were previously living on the streets. Okay. So many dogs have been adopted by wonderful people who think that now you've got this beautiful home, you're receiving all of the love and the attention that you didn't get when you were living on the streets, surviving on your own. We're providing healthy, good quality food for you. We're taking you on walks. You're getting exercise. What is wrong with you? Why are you going potty in the house? You should know to eliminate outside. This is where you always eliminated before. Why are you going potty in the house? Okay, we're starting there. Okay, thank you. And the dogs are guiding this conversation. Okay. For these dogs, Yes, they're used to eliminating outside. However, they didn't learn to build that bladder control because they were able to eliminate whenever they needed to. They didn't learn to hold it. And for some of these dogs, if there was a dog living in the house previously that maybe had an accident or two on the carpet, they may be marking their territory. Okay. Okay. Also, for dogs not seeing what they believe to be leadership from their new pack, from their human family members, right, who are now their pack, their family. If they feel like they're in charge, often dogs will show that they're feeling responsible by marking, lifting their leg on the couch, on certain pieces of furniture, to say, I'm in charge and this is my home. Okay, and they're also wanting me to share, sometimes this doesn't happen immediately. Sometimes it happens after the adopted dog has been in the home for a couple of weeks, sometimes even a couple of months. They've sat back and observed, watched everything going on, and decided, okay, well, who's in charge here? What are the rules? What are the boundaries? And if they're not seeing the boundaries that they need in order to feel like they're being taken care of, they feel like they have no other option but to step up and be in charge. And this is one of the ways that they show that. Okay. So can you give us some advice, please? How can we help these dogs who have never been house trained and learn to eliminate outside? Okay. Some dogs who have been living on the streets will not eliminate in the house. They will only eliminate outside. But they're saying, keep in mind, every single dog is different. Okay, and they're wanting to add something else in before they give advice. Okay, they're giving this example. Sometimes when children are afraid, overwhelmed, stressed out, they will have an accident. And they either won't get to the bathroom in time and have an accident, maybe pee in their pants. Sometimes if they're really excited and distracted, they don't realize that they need to eliminate until it's too late. They had to go to the bathroom while you're in the toy store, but they were having way too much fun to even realize that they needed to go. And you ask them before you leave the store, do you need to go potty? Let's use the restroom. No, I don't need to go. And then you're in the car preparing to leave and go home maybe, or drive to the next store. And all of a sudden they say that they need to go to the bathroom. They're saying sometimes dogs will eliminate in the house, even if you've just come in from playing with them outside, because they forgot that they needed to go while you were playing. And then now they're inside the house, they're relaxed, and their bladder relaxes and they can't hold it one more second. Okay, thank you. And sometimes it's from a place of stress, like we mentioned. Sometimes they're so stressed out, they don't know what to do. Like a little boy being so scared of something, he pees his pants. Yeah, sometimes dogs will do this. Oh, they're also wanting me to bring up another point. Okay. Sometimes after dogs have been, especially females, after they have been spayed, it can really affect affect them and they can have incontinence issues. Yes. Okay. So maybe they're sleeping, and when they wake up, there's a puddle on the blanket. They're not doing this because they're not trainable. They're doing this because they've lost that bladder control. Sometimes medication will contribute towards this too. Age, especially senior dogs, they don't have the same bladder control, just like young dogs. And adult dogs who have never been trained and learned how to hold it. Okay. They're saying we could talk for hours on this topic, and they're aware that this is a 30-minute show. So they're trying to give as much insight as possible as to the why behind all of this. Okay, great. Are we going to dive into some advice now as to how to help these dogs who previously were living on the streets? Or maybe not. Maybe this is a puppy who was surrendered to the shelter because the previous family did not work with them properly on potty training. Now they've just given up on them and taken them to the shelter, thinking that the dog is untrainable. Okay, so they're saying that in both of these situations, a newly adopted dog that is struggling and a young puppy that you've adopted, brought into your home. Yeah. It's very important when a dog is struggling and having accidents in the house. They are not purposeful. They really are accidents. That you start at square one and that you do not judge and punish them when they have a mistake, right? When they make a mistake and they do eliminate on the carpet. It's very important not to acknowledge their accident, but to clean it up out of sight. And if you notice that they just eliminated, someone cleans it up out of sight while the other person takes them outside to eliminate. If there's only one of you at home, take them out to eliminate first. If you can, leave them out for a few more minutes or bring them in and put them into another room while you clean it up out of sight. Okay, thank you. And how can we help build that bladder control? How can we help them understand that eliminating outside is the desired response? Okay. No matter how old they are, treat them like a little puppy that's 9 or 10 weeks old, right? Even if they're a 4-year-old dog, doesn't matter. They obviously need help. They're knowing what is expected. Okay, so they're saying they wake up from a nap, immediately take them out to eliminate. They just drank a lot of water, take them out to eliminate. They just ate, take them out to eliminate. And depending on their age, yeah, you take them out every 45 minutes to an hour, just assuming that they do need to eliminate, right? Obviously, you're not going to wake them up from a nap to take them out because it's been an hour. Okay. But okay, and they're saying something else that's very important is to make sure you're monitoring them all the time. You can't walk out of the room, leave them in the living room while you go and take a shower and get ready for the day, because they may eliminate while you're taking a shower, and you can't get upset with them for doing that because you weren't there to realize that they needed to go. Okay. If they are crate trained, or they're comfortable being in an X pen, which is like a fenced-in area in the house, keep them in a smaller space when you don't have eyes on them to set them up for success. Okay, and it's also important to notice those telltale signs that they do need to eliminate, right? Usually a dog will circle or they'll start sniffing. Okay, it's also important to create less availability to the whole house. So if you can make the use of baby gates and block off the hallway, close all of the doors so they can't sneak into another room and go potty. Try to set things up so that when you are spending time with them, you have eyes on them all the time. Something else that's very important they're saying is to always use the same door to take them out to eliminate. Some dogs will learn to let you know that they need to eliminate by going to the door. Other dogs don't. You can't make them learn to do that. Some dogs will just patiently wait and hope that you remember to take them out. Other dogs might come up and look at you or come over and nudge you to let you know. Okay, they are saying you could use bells and hang bells on the door, and the dog isn't going to know to ring the bell to say, I need to go out to eliminate. You ring the bell every time you take them out to eliminate, right? However, this can backfire because some dogs will say, oh, every time I want to go outside, I'm just going to ring the bell. And they might not need to eliminate. They might just want to go out and sniff the air or sunbathe, right? But it can help them learn to go to the door. So you could start with the bells and then remove them, or just not use the bells at all. Most dogs will learn to let you know in some way. And if they don't, it's just important to be really tuned in to your dog and recognize when they need to go. Okay, so encouraging them to eliminate outside. Use a high value food reward, something that they don't usually get, right? Can't be a piece of kibble or something that they're a treat that they're used to getting. It needs to be something special to really encourage them to eliminate outside. And high value for different dogs means something different. It might be a piece of apple that you've peeled, right? Could be a small piece of apple or banana. Could be a piece of chicken. It might be a small piece of dog jerky. It doesn't need to be high calorie, just something your dog is really motivated by. So you're taking them out regularly, right? And you're using a different word for each elimination. Okay. So if you're asking them to urinate, maybe the word is potty. You don't want to have a full sentence. Let's say the dog's name is Chloe. Let's go potty, Chloe. Come on, let's go potty. Come on, sweetheart. That's way too much for them to filter, right? So instead it would be potty, Chloe. For pooping, people will usually use the word poop. One client said bombs away. It could be anything, right? As long as everyone in the family is using the same word as a reminder of let's go potty now. You do not want to use the same word for each elimination, because if you use potty for everything, they'll say, well, I've just urinated. Why do you keep asking me to go? Plus, when you're traveling, it's much easier for dogs to urinate. It's usually a bit more urgent to urinate, right? However, if they need to poop, they've got to sniff around, find that right spot, and it helps them remember the mission. If you stopped at a rest area, it is so distracting with all of the new smells and sights and sounds. This helps them kind of stay on point and know that they need to poop before you get back in the car and drive for a few more hours. So if you start at home, much easier for them to know what you're asking of them. Right after they eliminate, you want to mark it, right, with a good poop, Chloe, as you give them the food reward. You don't want to go back inside to give it to them because they won't associate it with eliminating. So let's say you've taken Chloe out to go potty. You also want to make sure when you're doing this in the beginning, it might be the first few weeks, right, that they are on a leash. If you just open up the back door, let them out on their own, you can't see when they're eliminating. You can't mark it properly. And if they're just running around the yard, it's very, very distracting. They're much more likely to play or get distracted with the neighbor dog or hearing something. But if they're on a leash, it's easier for them to focus on the mission, right? So you're taking them out on a leash and you're saying, go potty, Chloe. And as soon as she squats and she's finished eliminating, you reach into your pocket, get the high value reward. And as she comes over to you, you say, good potty, Chloe, as you give her that food reward. So you're marking it with verbal praise and something super yummy as extra motivation. Yes, it would be great if all dogs are just motivated by verbal praise, but not all dogs are. And if you're working on something that they're struggling with, the dogs are saying it's much more motivating for them if they get something super yummy. After they eliminate, if you know that they don't need to go again, right, or they don't need to poop as well, you bring them straight back in. Even if you're going to play with them now, bring them back in first, do something for a few minutes, and then take them out to play with them, right? So that each potty mission is something separate done from playtime, training time. And of course, they might be eliminating when you're out there playing fetch with them or doing heel training or something too. Okay, and they want me to share something else. Okay, when you're taking them out on a walk or you're outside in the yard playing fetch with them, if they eliminate, even without you asking them to, mark it right after they go, right? With a good potty, Chloe, good poop, Chloe, and they get a food reward. It's just another reminder that outside is the best place to eliminate. So inside, they get no attention whatsoever. You're not upset with them. You're not frustrated with them. You're not mad because you have to get the carpet cleaner out for the 20th time today. They're getting praised every single time they eliminate outside. If you start practicing this, usually after a couple of weeks, no matter the age of the dog, they will start learning to eliminate outside, and those accidents in the house will become less and less and less. And this also helps you learn how to tune into your dog, right? It's about feeling into their energy and what they're communicating with you. Does it feel like maybe they need to go potty even though they went out half an hour ago? If you feel like maybe they need to go, take them outside. Dogs are very intuitive. They will try to connect in with us by showing us images, by communicating their feelings to us. And if we can just be quiet and listen and open up to their messages, they're so great at talking to us. I'm going to thank these dogs who have provided this channeled wisdom and advice. Thank you so much for sharing the reason behind dogs having accidents in the house and how best to support and help them to be successful going potty outside. Thank you. I hope that you have enjoyed listening. Stay tuned for our next episode where I will be having a chat with a little Frenchie called Suko, whose parents have reached out to me wanting to get some insight as to a couple of her quirky behaviors. You've been listening to Fluent in Canine. Many blessings to you and your fur babies. Until next time.